U.S.-Indonesia trade deal. Trump avoids tariff hike, secures major Boeing order. Washington, July 2025. President Donald Trump announced Tuesday via Truth Social that the United States has reached a new bilateral trade agreement with Indonesia, allowing the Southeast Asian country to avoid a looming increase in tariffs. The Great Deal, as described by Trump, comes just days before the expiration of a 90-day tariff truce declared by the White House earlier this year. Last-minute deal averts 32% tariff threat. Facing the threat of a 32% tariff on Indonesian exports to the U.S. starting August 1, Jakarta ramped up diplomatic efforts in early July. A delegation led by Indonesia's Minister of the Economy, Airlangga Hartarto, traveled to Washington to negotiate a resolution. Under the final agreement, Indonesian goods will now face a reduced tariff of 19%, only slightly above the U.S. tariff floor of 10%, imposed under Trump's new reciprocal trade policy announced in April. Full U.S. market access and Boeing purchase. In return, President Trump claims the U.S. has secured full access to the Indonesian domestic market for American goods, without tariffs. A key part of the deal includes Indonesia's purchase of 50 Boeing aircraft, many of which will be Boeing 777s, a wide-body jet critical to the U.S. aerospace industry. Indonesia had already committed on July 8th to increase imports of U.S. agricultural and petroleum products, part of its strategy to soften Washington's stance. According to Indonesian officials, local companies plan to spend up to $34 billion on these purchases, though specific breakdowns have not yet been disclosed. Copper and strategic sectors in focus. Trump also emphasized Indonesia's role as a key copper producer, noting that his administration may introduce sector-specific tariffs on strategic materials like copper, which are vital to clean energy and tech manufacturing. This suggests future negotiations may target high-value resources more aggressively. Broader context. Multi-front trade pressure. The Indonesia deal comes amid a broader push by the Trump administration to reduce the U.S. trade deficit, which stood at $17.9 billion with Indonesia in 2024, a 5.4% increase over the previous year. Since early July, more than 20 countries have received formal warning letters from the White House about upcoming tariffs ranging from 20% to 50%, with Brazilian goods facing the highest tier. Parallel agreement with the European Union. Simultaneously, Indonesia finalized a political trade agreement with the European Union, concluding nearly 10 years of negotiations. During a visit to Brussels, President Prabowo Subianto called the deal a breakthrough, while European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen highlighted the untapped potential of EU-Indonesia trade relations.